so we're finally here, the first review to go on the channel. That doesn't count. Anyway, feels like I've been promised to put reviews on my channel for literally forever. Anyways, here we are, and honestly, the hardest thing to do when it comes to deciding what game, honestly just picking what game. Do I pick a classic game? Do I pick a crappy game? Do I just pick a brand new game? Possibilities are endless, and so is my insanity. I pretty much said, I'm gonna review whatever game I am playing at the time, which is not Smash Ultimate at the time of this recording. So here we are with Sonic Advance for the GBA. I actually have a ton of memories with this game. I got within the first couple years of release, and my mom bought it for me because, like every other kid, I was in elementary school. So Sonic Advance came out in Japan December 20th, 2001, developed by Dimps and SEGA team. So I want to say I got it around early summer 2002, 2003. So roughly around its release window, for me anyway. So I was either 8 or 9 in elementary school. I got that and 2 other games. One of those 2-in-1 games, SpongeBob Super Sponge and SpongeBob Revenge of the Flying Dutchman. I wonder what I was thinking. Okay, that makes sense. Anyway, it's weird to think I was at the age that Sonic just got his feet with being on Nintendo consoles. Most people grew up with the Blue Bird on the Genesis and only seeing him as such. I grew up the same way, but for the longest time, I thought he was multi-platform until I hit middle school. With all said, let's see if Sonic Advance is as good as I remember. So just giving you guys a heads up, I don't actually have the means to record GBA games, so the gameplay footage is from an emulator, but I actually play the game beforehand on the respective console, so most of my opinions are gonna be based off my original playthrough. So yes, I played through Sonic Advance back to back multiple times. Moving on, each character is different enough from Sonic to warrant playing them. Sonic runs fast, he spin dashes, he has a spin attack, which is pretty much useless, and his dash attack, which is also pretty useless, which is why I'm gonna be honest up front, Sonic is my least favorite character to play as. Why? Because he feels weak compared to the rest of the characters. If this Sonic is supposed to be more of his modern counterpart, where's the homing attack? Where's the bounce attack? You mean to tell me they couldn't give him any useful moves other than his somersault, which isn't even useful in Sonic Adventure 2, other than the points where you have to use them? Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2 were already released in the West, so the games had to be developed roughly around the same time. And I'm just disappointed. I just want a fast Sonic that feels fluent, and it did not deliver for me. Now Tails, that's a character. He does everything. Platforming?
Fuck platforming, I can fly.
Catch Emerald hunting?
Fuck that, I can fly.
Bosses giving you trouble?
Fuck you, I'm motherfucking Tails.
Sonic can swim?
Fucking doggy paddle, bitches.
And fuck it, he can live through the X Zone blowing up. And I'm not joking, seriously, Tails is busted in this game. You can literally skip a ton of platforming section just by flying over it. And I feel like the developers do that, so that's why this game honestly should have been called Tails Advance. Now let's go into Knuckles. Knuckles is more or less the same as his classic counterpart. He glides, he wall climbs, but just as his name says, now he throws a 1-2 punch, which is useful, I guess. And not really. Knuckles is as simple as they come, and his gameplay doesn't hurt from it. He doesn't really need anything added to him because his kit's as good as the way it is. Did I forget to mention Knuckles can swim? Because he can. I almost feel bad for Sonic. Out of the whole game, Amy is the most versatile character, and when I say versatile, I basically mean really different. Donning her whole Sonic Adventure playstyle, Amy is all about her hammer and nothing else. She is so about her hammer, she forgets he's a hedgehog. So forget anything you knew about playing Sonic, cause you ain't jumping on enemies. But as weird as it sounds, she's actually really fun to play, despite some of her issues. The abilities with her hammer are really fun and practical to use. Like her hammer can hit springs and she can jump. Have her hammer flip jump, which gets her into higher areas. And not to mention, she's probably one of the best characters to actually deal with bosses, since her jumping hammer attack has a huge hitbox. Look what I can do to Eggman! Booyah! But sadly, her low points are really low because she can't spin, so she often runs into issues running up slopes, which actually killed me at Cosmic Angel Zone. And as much as I praise her hammer skills, you either have to know an enemy is coming up, or do a pre-jump hammer strike, or stop entirely what you're doing to deal with the enemy, which halts the flow of the game, which isn't really that fun. But it's not just an issue that Amy runs into, it's an issue almost every single character runs into, unless you're Tails, because most times you can just fly over it anyway, so who cares? Now the stages themselves. This time around it's only 2 stages, or zone, or act, however you want to call them, with the second stage, act or zone, ending with the boss. So levels do keep the fast pacing. We have Neo Green Hill Zone, Secret Base Zone, Casino Paradise Zone, Ice Mountain Zone, Angel Island Zone, Egg Rocket Zone, Cosmic Angel Zone, X Zone, and the Moon Zone. So, I gotta say, the bosses were actually pretty fun to fight, for the factor of how stupid Eggman is for using the machines to fight. I mean, look, he literally has Sonic trapped underwater. You can literally drown Sonic. So what does he do? He has a machine that drops ice, so Sonic can get air. Granted, it's a cakewalk with any other character, but I give the bosses a pass, since they honestly do feel like they're really close to their Genesis counterparts, and they're pretty fun to fight, except for Cosmic Egg Zone boss. I hated it. I really hated it. I really, really hated it. The references to classic bosses in the X Zone were probably the highlight of my playthrough. I really loved the fact that they brought Sonic 2's bosses, Sonic 1 bosses, and the fact that they had the music playing like a remix of the original bosses from the original Sonic 1 and Sonic 2. That was the best thing ever. But sadly, I gotta say, a lot of these stages, aesthetic-wise, didn't catch me. Some of the stages all start off with a really interesting gimmick, like Neo Green Hill Zone or Secret Base Zone, but then they get dropped immediately. Neo Green Hill Zone has you start off on a nice sandy beach, so at that point I'm thinking it's gonna reference Sonic Adventure, which would be a nice callback. And then after that, it completely just drops that whole thing of being its own unique stage, and this ends up being Green Hill Zone except with trees. It's like, if you're gonna have the beach aesthetic, keep the beach aesthetic. And the end of Neo Green Hill Zone, you end up going to a city. Again, would be more like referencing Sonic Adventure 2. It's adding all these references and immediately drop the thing and never using them. I want to see more of the beach. I want to see more of the city aspect that you put in there. Stop pandering to Green Hill Zone. We didn't need it at this point. And then you have Secret Base Zone, where you start off in this James Bond-ass thing, where you're going down the zip line. You're thinking, wow, this is going to be a cool stage. And And I love the music that starts off because it really sets the tone. And then you're just in some generic ass plumbing stage, I gotta say, or some heat vent stage that doesn't even look all that interesting. It looks boring. It doesn't even look like a secret base zone. It looks like they put a random generated zone name and said, alright, let's see what we can call this zone. Secret base zone, but it's not in the base. Well, we'll just name it that anyway and have it start off to make it look like it's in secret base, but it's not. Now, every other zone after follows the traditional Sonic pattern. You got the casino stage, you got the water stage, which is also the ice stage, you got the sky and the moon, which at this point, I'm used to. And for the most part, it doesn't bug me, except for Egg Rocket Zone and Angel Comic Zone. Those zones both have death traps, they have spikes, they have annoying enemy placements, and honestly, was the part where I was playing Sonic and Amy that weren't fun. They were the least amount of fun, because those two characters struggle almost equally. I died by timeout. I could barely do this section because Amy can't spin dash, so she can't hit max speed, so you have to try and rely on her hammer flip jump, which was a little bit inconsistent at that point, which is the only time it's inconsistent. When every other stage it works perfectly fine for me. So I don't know, I've literally replayed stages multiple times. As I said before, I've played this game back to back multiple times. And even though I've replayed stages and I know some of the hazards are coming up, I still run into them because the Dems, the people who made this game, seem to have a hard-on for spiked pits and annoying enemy placements. Or they seem to have some kind of stupid thing where there's like, hey, let's just put an annoying gimmick in the stage and see if the player has fun with that. I didn't have fun with that. Now, if you want to know the real reason why I don't like Cosmic Angel Zone, it's mostly because once you get to Act 2, Act 2 has, needless to say, one of my least favorite things. And I don't hate it 100%. But Dims, they cranked it up just a little notch, just to get on my nerves. Anti-gravity spikes combined with pits, so it's like, even though I didn't really jump in any pits, it's just like, hey, well, we thought it'd be interesting to try something new, so we're gonna do anti-gravity, pits, and spikes, because any new player is gonna enjoy doing that. But anyway, I can keep talking on and on and on about that. Now let's get into the next part, the music. And sadly, the music didn't really do it for me. The music isn't really memorable. There aren't a lot of tracks that I can say I can remember. There aren't even tracks that I can say that I want to save and put on my phone to listen to at work or when I'm editing videos. They're not really that memorable whatsoever. Other than the remixes of the Sonic 1 and Sonic 2 and Secret Base Zone. And when I remember Secret Base Zone, all I remember is how disappointed and then how that stage came out. This makes me wonder, how did the music become honestly not as good when, you know, you had Adventure, you had Adventure 2, you had the classic series, you had so much to base a solid soundtrack on, and Sonic Advance 1 soundtrack didn't come out as good at all. Now, I'm guessing at this point, you probably want to wonder, what about this game really tilts me? What tilts me the most in Sonic Advance? And you know what tilts me the most in Sonic Advance? The special stages. And I'm not holding back on this one. I fucking hate the special stages. I hated them when I was 8 or 9, and I definitely hate them when I'm 24. Seriously, what the fuck? First off, you have to find the special ring located in 1 act per zone. Yeah, you heard me. 1 act per zone. Which means you have to figure out which spring is located in that level within the whole stages they give you. So within the 2 stages, you have to figure out, okay, is it in Act 1 or is it in Act 2? Well, if it's not, and that means you have to travel throughout the whole act to figure out which one the spring is located. What was wrong with how it was done originally? What was wrong with how Sonic 1 did it, to where all you have to do is get 50 rings, reach the end of the zone, jump through a ring, special stage. There you go. What was wrong with how Sonic 2 did it, where all it was just get 50 rings, pass the checkpoint, jump through a hole in the checkpoint, and bam, special stage. What was wrong with how Sonic 3 did it, to where all you have to do was find a special ring located within the stage, which basically means there could be multiple rings. I don't know why there's just one, and they're all located in areas where basically only Tails can reach them. Sometimes Sonic can reach them if you're lucky enough to be able to go through that specific part of the stage and make it up to where that spring is located. But basically, if you want to keep your sanity, only get the special springs as Tails and nobody else. Don't even dare attempt it. And even if you somehow collect all the Chaos Emeralds, you think after you're done you get to just beat the game? That's it? If you can somehow collect all the Chaos Emeralds with Sonic and beat the game, you think you can do it in one go? No. You gotta do each and single character campaign, go through their whole levels, and beat the game. So, you collect all the Chaos Emeralds as Tails, you gotta beat the game as Sonic, Amy, Knuckles, Tails if you didn't already, and then go back and beat it as Sonic, because that's fair. Beat the game so many times, because I want to at that point after doing that. And you think, yes, well at least now that I've done all that, I got the Chaos Emeralds, maybe, just maybe I could go Super Sonic? Well, guess what, guys? If you think maybe I could go Super Sonic, this problem is chronic because it's ironic that he can't go Super Sonic. Talk about a kick in the dick. The whole turning Super Sonic thing has been a thing since the classic series, and you tell me they just took it away? Oh, because you don't turn Super Sonic in the Adventure series until Endgame. We'll just do that for this. No, that's one of the best parts about the classic series. Turning Super Sonic made Sonic, feel invincible. But I guess even in this game that wouldn't mean anything, because you probably still go into a bottomless pit or get crushed. So I guess at that point it doesn't really mean anything. But I guess another reason why it's a kick in the dick is because, I have all these other characters, It'd be nice to see Turbo Tails again. It'd be nice to see, Super Knuckles. It'd be super goddamn cool if you got to see Super Amy. You only get to see that in sprites. That's like a dream come true to see Super Amy. God, get on it, SEGA, do it! And if you ask me, after all this, do you think it was worth it? Was all the trouble going through each zone, trying to find each special ring, doing the special stages, do you think it was worth it for the final zone? I'm gonna sit there and tell you, hell no. It was not worth the trouble. Matter of fact, I wish I could go back, years and years ago and just beat the game flat and tell my younger self, you know what, it's not worth getting the Chaos Emerald. Just beat the game, put the game down, go to the next Sonic game. The next Sonic game will hopefully get better. I'm telling you. And the worst part is, even playing on this emulator, I tried using the Emerald code to get all the emeralds. It didn't work. So you know what I had to do? I had to put the infinite special ring code to get all the special rings, because I tried emulating this more close to Sonic Gems using a GameCube controller. So I was trying to replicate the whole GameCube feeling. And you can't put dialogue inputs on an emulator. At least I couldn't find a way to do that. So guess what? These special stages were quite literally impossible. And I didn't even like doing them while I was playing it on my DS or SP. They're just as infuriating. Retrying them multiple times gave me a headache. I had friends literally watch me basically almost pull my hair out to see how angry I'd get trying to finish these goddamn special stages. And the worst part is, they only get worse as the series go on. You must think that I hate this game from my review. But I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I don't hate this game. I like it. If I had to play this game front to back, no real emerald hunting, it's a good game. It brings me back to, playing the original classic Genesis days for the most part, except for, pits, bombs, pits, and being crushed multiple times, and screen crunching. Yeah, brings me back. Anyway, it's not a bad game. But to tell someone to play the game multiple times to try to do the emerald hunting. I can't. I really can't. On the bright side, if you want the collection, each game is roughly 10 to 15 bucks. But if you want the case, you might have to pay a pretty penny. But all being said, next game I'm going to be looking into is actually the original Sonic one. As I've played Sonic Advance more and more, and as I've written this review, I realize this game probably wasn't the best thing to start off with. Don't get me wrong, first review, I can let some stuff slide, but thought why not just go back to my roots and see what actually made Sonic fun for me. With that being said, I'm TNT and have a good night.